Hey, what's going on? What's going on, man? Wise Wonder Waking podcast. What it is, guys? Let's talk about it. I want to talk to about this subject, and it's a really big thing right now. Let's talk about immigration, right? Why Americans are to blame for the immigration problem in America. I think Americans are to blame for it. You guys can say, hey, no, you have a different opinion. Fine, it is what it is. But I think Americans are to blame for the immigration issue in America. Let me tell you why. Number one, America policy towards third world countries, right? Those people that's immigrating from these countries that's coming to America, they coming for a reason, right? They coming for lack of opportunity, lack of economic opportunity, jobs, just a good life. And they know America, everything's really good and dandy. They can come, they can make a good life for themselves and elevate their family or bring their family here or go back home and create a business and elevate their social standing in their country or here, right? So that's why we know immigrants come here for a better life. It is what it is, right? So what America is doing, what it's been doing since the '60s, or maybe earlier than that, America has been toppling government, right? It's been taking out government that is not favorable to them. It's been taking them out and for better products, for better everything, right? In favor of corporate companies that's in these countries, that's getting just favoritism, right? So in America go to war for these corporations, right, in these countries, so that way these corporations can make more money and get cheaper product, cheaper labor. So in turn, what do you have? You have people that are for decades and decades, their country is doing really bad, and America has seen that their country is doing really bad, so they can go ahead and get cheap product, cheap produce, and cheap labor. So eventually, those countries they get none but crime. So eventually, people want to get out, right? They want to get out and they want to come here. I know that for sure because I'm from a country where everybody I know that they want to get out. They want to come to America. They want to have a good life, and send money back to their home country. So I know that experience coming because I'm not American. So I know what it is on both sides. I know because I've been here a very long time. So I've assimilated to the American culture, and also been in another country. So I understand both sides of the argument. But ultimately, I think Americans are to blame for it because the American policy towards these countries, right? So, because whenever these countries say, you know what, we want to go ahead and determine our own economic progress in our country, and this is what we want, this is what we're gonna do. America say, hold on, not so quick, right? Because we don't want you to start doing good for yourself. Because what happens when these countries start doing good for themselves? The product's not gonna be cheap no more. Produce not gonna be cheap no more. Labor's not gonna be cheap no more, and people are not gonna come here and do the jobs that Americans don't want to do, right? So America go from country to country and destroying economies, right? They're destroying economies, they're destroying governments. So these countries are not able to build themselves up like a normal country would be, building themselves up to become a viable, productive country, right? They're not getting the job done because America's saying, nah, we want to keep going and get that, we want our interests protect, right? We want your oil, we want whatever resources that you have at a very, very, very low rate, next to free, right? We want your land, we want all these things, right? So now America's doing that. Now you have these people that they have no means of taking care of themselves, their family in these countries. They're gonna come here. I know because I travel. I go to these countries, these poor countries. I go there. I talk to these people. So I'm not just talking on my ass here. I talk to these people, right? And I also had really horrible jobs here, and I have a good job here. So I've come in from different, class, from the poor to middle class. I'm not an upper class, but I've experienced life where I could be like, okay, this is what's really going on. So now these people get here, they're willing to take any job. They don't care. They're like, I'll take any job, and they'll take a low pay rate, right? They're like, I don't really care, man. I'm like, yo, you want to pay me X amount of dollars? You want to give me $10, $12 an hour? I'll take that, and I'll send that money. They're gonna send that half back home, and they're gonna sit in the house with 10, 20 of them, and they're gonna send that money back home, and they're gonna bring the rest of their family here, and they're gonna build a business. And guess what? Next thing you know, they're coming up. They're taking jobs that are usually meant for black people. Other immigrants that have been here before these vast amount of immigrants that came here, right? So they're like, hey, you don't want those jobs? Well, we'll take them jobs. We'll become dishwashers. We'll cut grass. We'll do the jobs that you don't want to do. Or even if you want to do it, we'll take them, we'll undercut you, and we'll do even better. Because everybody, Americans make fun of immigrants all the time. But one thing they can't lie about immigrants. They work hard. They'll tell you that all the time. Oh, Mexican will cut this or will do this. There'll be three of them. They work all day to do a great job, right? They know that. They know that, right? So Americans were refusing to do these jobs. So the immigrants say, yo, we're going to take them. We'll do them for a cheaper rate. So you still blaming the immigrants? Why you don't do those jobs? I understand. Well, you need to put more pressure to these corporations to pay you more. You need to put more pressure to these politicians to make these corporations pay more. Don't blame the immigrants. Don't blame immigration for why you don't have opportunity in this country, because they're starting at the bottom. Most of them are. The ones that's coming from poor country. I'm not talking about the ones that's well off that's coming here. The ones that's well off that's coming here, they're better off than most Americans. A good 90% of Americans are already better off. They coming here, they already coming from their country rich, so they coming here already like better than us. You know, so I'm really mainly talking about the poor immigrants. So, and another thing is Americans love cheap products. We love cheap stuff, right? And we overconsume. We want. I mean, yo, I could stay. This is my neighborhood right here, man. And every other day, there's somebody throwing something away. And this thing it worked perfectly. There's nothing really wrong with it. I myself I do that also. I mean, I just had like this equipment I just had. I had no more use for it, and I threw it away. But it's perfectly good. So what I do, I try to cut down and buying useless stuff. If I'm not gonna use it for years and years to come, I do my best not to buy it. Don't waste my money, because I don't want to overconsume. But Americans, we overconsume, we overeat. You know, we do everything big. We want everything. So you want cheap product, you want cheap food. You want to go to the grocery store, you don't want to spend an arm and a leg grocery store. You want to go to Walmart, you want to spend $100, have food for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right? But you like, hey, I want cheap produce. But who you think gonna be working those farms? Immigrants. Where do you think those cheap produce are coming from? Third world countries. They're coming from third world countries. Cheap produce. You know, and the reason why they're cheap, you getting cheap products, is because of cheap labor from China, from South America, from parts of Africa. They're coming from there, and they're cheap because people are doing it. They're working for 50 cents, $2 to $2 a day. So us Americans love that. We love the fact we can get stuff for cheap. You know, I myself too. You know, this is capitalism. So Americans are complaining about immigration. They're complaining about, well, we need to do something about immigration. It's really people on the right, right? People on the right. But guess what? Most of those people, they have nannies. They have people taking care of their kids, cleaning their house. And they're using immigrants to do that. But they'll be like, oh, yeah, we immigrants, and they're taking over the country. But I'm like, you like cheap stuff, though. You know? When Americans start doing these jobs, when Americans start saying, hey, no, these corporations, you can't do that. You need to go ahead and hire Americans. You need to have a certain amount of quota of Americans that you need to hire before you start hiring immigrants. When Americans say they want to go ahead and work in these farms, right? When Americans say they want to stop importing, exporting, bring stuff from other countries, they want to grow it here. And then when they want to stop meddling in other people's country and their government, then we can say, okay, it's not Americans' fault that we have an immigration problem. But to this day, I really think the issue of immigration is an American problem. It's a problem that Americans created. Americans created a problem. It's not immigrants that created it. It's not black people that created it. It is an American problem. It is governments that created these things to go ahead, and I don't know what their ultimate goal is, but I know one of their goals is to get cheap labor. It's cheap labor. They're importing these people. They're getting these people from these countries for cheap labor. These corporations love it, and they know Americans love it too, because nobody want to pay a lot of money for stuff. So what are you going to do about it? As an American, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to fix that problem? Or are you going to keep complaining about, oh, we need to build a wall, we need to stop letting these people in? Or are you going to be like, okay, we need to stop messing with these people's government. We need to stop fighting these wars. We need to stop doing cool in other people's government and let these people be. And we need to pay a good price for products that's coming from these countries, so these people can take care of their family You know, they could have a good livelihood in their country so they don't have to come here. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment box. Let's talk about it. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's talk about it, man. I mean, if you think I'm wrong, let me know. You know, if you think I'm wrong, what I'm saying, you guys let me know. You know, give me the information. I'll look it up, and we'll have a discussion. All right. Wise One Awaken podcast. It's great talking to you guys, man. Stay tuned for the next video.